Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So I just watched Here's Negan and I'm going to do a non-spoiler review coming out right after this video. I just figured that I would do this video now because what they do mention in Here's Negan, or the line that is mentioned, isn't really spoilery. Obviously this is spoilers for the episode, but there's no context behind it. Like, I'm not going to explain why he's saying it and in what scene and everything, but he says this line that is very unrelated to the episode. Like, it really is very unrelated to, like, without the context you won't even know what I'm talking about. But the line that he says changes the actual context to what Morgan says in season 3. It does. It really does. And that line is, "All I see is red." When Morgan says it in season 3, the interpretation that we have is that there's just blood everywhere. All he sees is red is because there's blood everywhere. But what Negan says in this episode is like, when people say all they see is red, because they're just super angry at the world, that they just see the world through blood. And so I'm paraphrasing there, but he changed the context of that. And so why was that put in this episode? Are we going somewhere here with Dwayne and his possible survival and the reveal coming up very, very soon in the final season with Dwayne's possible survival and that revelation? And will Morgan return to the show for this, reunion to happen? There is so much here to talk about. I want to go into all of this here. This is something that I've talked about years ago, if Dwayne could be alive. I guess the first time I mentioned it is when the Wall of the Lost storyline was happening. So whenever that was, 2-3 years ago in the comic. This is big. This is really big. Like, whenever I brought up this argument, everyone would always talk about the fact that, yeah, but he says all he sees is red. So that means that there's blood there. And that means, she was on him and all he sees is red. So, he's dying. Well, Negan saying this here, I think, changes the context of that. And so I broke down the scenes here, so I want to get into all of this. So before we go any further, obviously very light spoilers for Here's Negan. I'm not going to go into the episode at all. It's just this one line. Again, I'm not going to give context to it, but I just kind of wanted to warn you for that. And if you are new here, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. I am setting up the join button thing with YouTube right now. I submitted everything for the tier. It's just going to be a simple tier. It's like $4.99. I think it's $4.99 a month Canadian, potentially. I'm pretty sure it's like whatever. So I don't know what that would be in the US. It'd be cheaper. It'd be like $2 or $3 whatever a month. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be releasing live commentary tracks every 2 weeks and do live streams every 2 weeks. And so I already recorded my live commentary track for Here's Negan, and I already finished that. It's actually exporting right now. So once I get approved for all that, which I should, I'll upload that. And then, yeah, for people who do join and all that, that'll be on there. And then in 2 weeks, I'll do another episode, maybe a Fear the Walking Dead at that point. I'll release these things every 2 weeks. I'll do certain episodes here and there. And I mean, for season 11, like, once we get to that point, I will do them for the newer episodes. And since I am releasing them every 2 weeks, I might pick the better of the episodes, kind of thing, right? Like, I might, because I could do an episode commentary for every episode. I could still do that. And maybe I'll just be behind a little bit in terms of releasing it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the feedback is from all of it. But as of now, it's not really a reaction. Like, reactions are, you have the video in there, you have the clips and stuff, right? This is episode commentary tracks. It's literally the entire episode length of just me commentating and just giving my reaction. Like, the cool thing about it is that it is the first time I'm watching the episode. So there's that. I just did Here's Negan and I got emotional in the episode. So I like it because I'm actually recording my thoughts on the episode. I actually have the first time I ever watched it. Like, I wish I had this going back to season 2 and 3 and stuff, the first time I ever watched the show. So yeah, I'm doing that every 2 weeks. I'll release one. And then I also have every 2 week live streams I'll be doing. I don't know if I'll do them the same night. I might do them the same night I release the commentary. And so it'll just be a members only live stream. So if you are a member, I'll do that then. But yeah, anyways, that should be coming out in the next couple of days. I have to get approved first. So that could take a few days. I don't really know how long it's going to take. And so whenever it does, I'll make a video just explaining all of it. And then, yeah. But let's talk about why I think Dwayne could be alive. And as of now, I really do think that he could be alive. And I might look very stupid, like I might, but I think that there's a very good chance that he is alive now because of the line said in the episode Here's Negan, which is the true season 10 finale finally, and it's such a phenomenal episode. Again, non-spoiler review coming out later on, but I do believe Dwayne is alive, and the reason why is because, actually, first of all, let's recap what Morgan actually said. And I paraphrased it here, but I do have mostly what he said. Morgan in season 3, the Clear episode, he's in a scene with Rick. He's talking about what happened to his son and his wife. He's just kind of explaining what has happened to him over the last few months or however long it was. When he gets to the part about his wife, because if you remember, he couldn't kill his wife in the premiere. He couldn't. And he said she was on him and I see red. I see red. Everything is red and I do it. Finally was too late. I was supposed to. I was selfish. That is all we get of that. Like he says she was just on him. So his mom was standing there and then just kind of like lunged after Dwayne. No mention yet if he was bit or anything. And then he says, and I see red. So we're just meant to believe that all I see, like there's just blood everywhere because she's like eating him or whatever, right? Well, now we have different context to this. And it's interesting that they actually changed it here. Negan says, all I see is red. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he says basically that, you know, when people say all I see is red, like they're just super angry at the world, that they see the world through blood. I was that kind of angry sort of thing. And when he said that, I was just like, whoa. So you're basically turning all I see is red as like it's a saying, right? It's basically, that's what it is. It's a saying, a metaphor or whatever. So when Morgan says it, when you take that context into that scene, when Morgan says, and I see red, when he gets into it, he gets very angry. So if when you say all I see is red means that you're very angry, when you look at that scene now, Morgan sees his wife like jump on top of Dwayne, and then he says all I see is red, and he gets angry. So Morgan got angry. He just like, you know, the fact that this was happening, he jumped after his wife, and then finally he actually kills her, and it's finally he did it. And then at that point, that was just it. So the question is now, if the context of it was changed, when he said all I see is red, he was just angry, there wasn't actual blood or anything, Dwayne was fine. What happened to Dwayne afterwards? This is where things can get very interesting, because in the comic, a very similar thing happened to Michonne with her children, where she thought one of her children died and then eventually came back during the Commonwealth arc. Well, I could see this actually happening now. The context has now changed when Morgan says all I see is red, to the point where you can actually make sense of the scene for Dwayne's survival. Morgan killed his wife. Dwayne was fine afterwards, obviously. And then Morgan, because he was Clear Morgan, he was out of his mind. Dwayne probably just left, or maybe Morgan just left. I don't really know what would have happened. That is the type of information that we could get in the final season. And so, yeah, I'm at the point now where I do believe that this is most likely going to happen in season 11. And if you think of the characters that are there, we have Ezekiel and Eugene, right? They both know Morgan. Ezekiel was very close with Morgan. Ezekiel knows of Morgan's son, and I actually think that that is probably something that we might see on the Wall of the Lost. It's going to say, have you seen my father? And you're going to see a picture of Morgan, because Dwayne would have a picture of his father if they were at home, right? And so Dwayne could have been fine the entire time he's been staying here at the Commonwealth. I think it makes so much sense, because why was this line thrown in here? Why did Negan say that? It's so obvious, it jumps out at you because they want you to remember that. And I think the casual viewer won't know that. Like, they might hear that, but they might, I don't know, it sounds familiar, but you might not pick up on it, right? But to us, people who watch The Walking Dead a lot and analyze everything and try to, like, see if they're hinting at something for the future, this and that, when Negan says that, all I see is red, and then he changes it when he explains the metaphor, basically, saying that it just means that you're very angry and you see the world through blood. I think it's just very obvious as to why they did that. And this was the only hang up, really, with the theory. And when I did that video a long time ago, a lot of people were saying that, yeah, it sounds like it could have happened. It sounds like Morgan, because Morgan was crazy, that maybe he didn't see the fact that he died. Maybe he did survive, but he was just that crazy, and so Dwayne just left, or he abandoned Dwayne kind of thing. Well, some of it made sense. You could explain it besides the all I see is red. It made no sense. And that was the one thing that I couldn't really explain either. Like, it was just as simple as, if he's saying that just, it means that there's probably blood everywhere type of thing. And yeah, but until now, that context has changed here. That doesn't mean that at all. It just literally meant that Morgan was pissed off. He was very angry that his wife was doing that. He didn't say anything about his son actually dying, just that his wife jumped on top of him. And so he could have got her off of him immediately, like no scratch, no bite, nothing. And all he seen was red. He was just crazy. He was angry. He became Clear Morgan. He was lost. And then just what happens at that point, right? So that's the information that we need there, which is something that we could get if Ezekiel goes to the bakery shop in the final season, meets Dwayne, and then we get this explanation for everything, because I think it's possible. I really think it's possible. I think this is set up for the Commonwealth arc very early on. I'm trying to think of who's going to be on the Wall of the Lost, and I don't really know. Is it someone connected to Yumiko? Like, possibly, but it's not going to be that big of a reveal if it is. Like, we're not going to care. In the comic, when Michonne found out that she had a daughter still alive, it was shocking. Like, it was such big news. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And so if this happens to Yumiko, we're not going to care too much, because we're going to be like, who's this person, right? Ezekiel, if he has someone, I mean, I guess it is possible, right? Like, it could be really big if it was Ezekiel or Eugene, but it's not big like it was in the comic. And the only character where you can actually do something with that is with Dwayne. And if you change the context, if you add something in beforehand, that's kind of an Easter egg to that. Like, The Walking Dead has done that so much. They did it with Half Moon, right? Like, AKA Beta. They've done that so much. They'll have those records in there in Fear the Walking Dead, or in past episodes, they'll play a song that sounds a lot like Ryan Hurst, and later on it's explained, oh yeah, that's exactly what he was referencing there. Like, if Dwayne appears and then he just says, yeah, his dad went crazy, when we watch this episode, Here's Negan, we hear that line, it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I see red just means that he's very angry, and so it's been explained. It's not so far-fetched anymore. It isn't. And so yeah, I'll leave it here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm cleared Morgan now, but I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts on this are. I think that there's actually a possibility now. I think that the context has been changed enough where if it did happen, it would just be awesome, and it's not too crazy. Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.